Hey guys, this is Josh with Midnight Auto Repair. Here, working on this beautiful 51 Chevy. And she's been doing pretty good so far. You know, we woke her up for the year. If you guys caught that video, if not, I'll have it up in the corner there somewhere. But now we've noticed there's a little bit of a leak in the transmission pan. It's something we want to address, you know, not just for the sheer fact that we're losing fluids on the ground, which makes some people unhappy, but you know, just generally trying to keep her fluid tight. But I'm going to bring you along. I'm actually going to show you a couple tricks, see if there are things that can help before you really have to go through and take everything apart again, because it's kind of like water torture, you know. Even though you drain the fluid out of the transmission, it's still raining on you, and it does it for 2 hours afterwards. So if you do have to drop the transmission pan, get some brake clean and give it a little time before you crawl under there, unless you want to be covered in ATM. So we're going to get working on this, so stay with me and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're back, working my way under here, and what we're going to do is, we're going to try the simplest thing first, because it's what you should always assume. Never assume it's going to be a weird, crazy thing. Assume it's going to be the simple thing. And we definitely have well-known signs of it leaking transmission fluid. So what we're going to do is, since I actually know this vehicle and I put a new gasket on this thing a couple years ago, and my best guess is it could be that this gasket's now starting to crush and settle, and when it does that, it's not sealing it as tight as it used to. You know, when it was brand new, it was real pliable and it would come up and it would make it seal. Now it's getting a little older, a little more dried out. I'm going to try to put just a little bit of a, you know, like that one I got a 1/16 of a turn. That one I got a little bit of a turn. That one's a little bit of a turn, and what you're doing is you're kind of cleaning up that little bit of a gap that has appeared from it sitting for so long and going through its heat cycles. Like, yeah, I'm actually getting a couple good turns out of these. So, like that one, that was almost a quarter turn. And forgive me, a little difficult doing this. Oh yeah, that one had quite a bit of turn on it. A little bit of a turn. And just feeling for it. Feels like something's there. Oh wow. Now that one, I actually believe may be stripped out. So I'm going to snug the rest of these guys down here. And then we are going to come around and we're going to check it. So stay with me, let me reposition. I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, so we're going to get back in here and we're going to see if we can find the one that's, how shall I say, infinitely loose. Right there, be that one. Let's run it out, since it seems to be the only one that wants to behave like that. We're going to run through and we're going to see what we can see under here. And for anybody who's wondering, this is actually a 700R4. So this old truck's got overdrive. That way, when it goes down the road, it feels a little happier about it. This thing originally had a 216 stove bolt in it when I found it, and had the old 4-speed manual with the granny gear. So this truck, I mean, 45 mile an hour would have been long-winded on it. Oh yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see that there, but we've got aluminum all in the threads there. So what we're going to do is we are going to try an old farm trick here, but I gotta make sure I got the right size one, because sometimes if this is like an M6, which I believe this is actually M8 by 1 1/4, but if it's an M6 by 1 0 or 1.0, what you can do is you can actually use a 1/4 20 standard thread, which is a little coarser. This only works in aluminum, guys. Don't try this in steel. But in aluminum, normally it's soft enough and it's close enough that when you put it up in there, it will actually cut new threads and tighten down and be just happy about it. Because sometimes that fine thread is so fine you don't get a lot of material in between the threads to grip onto, and what it does, it makes it easy to pull out because it'll dislodge those real fine threads. But yeah, let me see what I got here and we'll come right back to you. Guys, so I'm back. We came up with a fast solution for this problem, and it's a simple fix, and at least for now. Next time we get in here and we drop the pan off this thing again, because, you know, I like to do regular services, but next time we do this, we will put a helicoil on this and fix it like that. So then what we're going to do is I actually have a little bit longer of a bolt here and a nut, because this bolt does protrude out through the top of the hole. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a stainless screw and a nut on the back side, and we are going to just snug that down, which is putting the same squeezing force on this, but it allows us, sorry, I know you guys couldn't see the top there, but it allows us to have a compressive force here, so that way the seal isn't leaking. And then what we do is we just go through and, like I said, double check everything. You know, make sure all these on this side are equally tight. And I would say that we're good. So I am going to wipe this thing down. That way we start fresh, and we will see if that takes care of the issue. So bear with me, guys. Be right back. Alright guys, so we get in here. Good old shop rag, and just wipe everything down. You can see it's been blowing back a little bit, so it has been leaking to a noteworthy degree. Just a little drip coming out of the tail shaft seal, which isn't uncommon, just as long as it's not hemorrhaging out of it. Now the other place I do see fluid coming out is where the speedometer cable goes in, which doesn't look bad either, but wipe it down. We'll keep an eye on that and make sure that we are getting a good seal. Giggity. But yeah, pretty much. Now we're just up to cleaning up the mess, and I will wrap up with you guys. I know this was a quick one, but I've got a special trip coming up here soon, and a special treat. So hang loose with me and we'll wrap up. Today's been a quick trip on this one, but I wanted to bring you along. I wanted to show you this wonderful truck, in case you missed the previous video, which I'll have floating up here again. But no, just a beautiful example, and I figured it's a good way to show you guys a quick fix until you can get in there and do a permanent fix. Like I said, this is one of those things where it's midsummer. I'm not going to try to lay the truck up because I know that he enjoys driving this thing as much as I enjoy being around it and working on it. So I'm not going to tie him up too much, but what I am going to do is I'm going to buy him a little time, and then when fall comes around, we're going to drop the transmission pan off of that, and we're going to put a good helicoil in there. That way it's got good threads to bite to, and at that point I'll probably helicoil a number of them because I'm sure that's not the only one that's starting to loosen up. It's just the one that loosened up enough to be noteworthy. Hard part about steel and aluminum. So I'm going to check the transmission fluid. I'm going to check the oil while I'm in here because it's always a good time when you got the hood open. Check your fluids. Seriously. Even on your modern car. I know it says 5,000 miles, or the car tells you when to check your oil, but the computer only knows how many miles you put on the thing as to how many it's ready before an oil change. It doesn't actually usually know how much oil is in the car until the point of it's out, and then you see the little red light start flashing or staying on constant telling you you have an oil pressure, which means you have either no oil or something has gone bad. So at that point, if you see that little light that comes on, it looks like the little genie lamp, but it's red. Shut the thing down and call a garage or call a tow truck, because at that point, something bad's happening, and the longer it runs like that, the longer you are doing damage to it. So what could be a quick, you shut it down in time, they replace the oil pump, or they find sludge on the pickup screen, or even I've seen in weird situations where the filter has plugged itself up with garbage. Either way, it gives a chance to save that motor and save you thousands of dollars, because, well, let's not kid ourselves, you know. You get into an engine job or an engine replacement, on some of these older cars, yeah, you can get them done pretty reasonably because there isn't a whole lot to them. You start getting into a modern car, you know, especially if you're working on something German, European, something of that nature, you know, you're talking 20, 30 hours of labor to switch an engine over. So, guys, check your fluids. It's easy. There's little sticks. They're normally marked. A lot of the transmissions nowadays you can't test. The dealer actually has to check that. But your oil, there's always a dipstick there. So pull that out. Let the car be off. Don't do it with the engine running. Have it with the car off and sitting for 10, 15 minutes. Pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, stick it back in there, pull it out, and that should give you your oil level. And if it's below where it says okay, you know, it's like a little cross-hatched area, you know, between that little range, it's usually fine. But if you start seeing it get to the low range of that, add a little bit of oil until it comes up to the full mark. Don't add a lot all at once, you know, just quick pour, give it a minute, let it soak down to the pan, check it out. This is a perfect opportunity for not only you guys to like, share, and subscribe, because that's what we do around here. Comment, please. You know, if you guys got a better idea for this, or you've done something that worked, by all means, drop in the comments. I'm always welcome to new knowledge myself. So, guys, on that bombshell, this has been Josh from Midnight Auto Repair. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. I really appreciate that. And, you know, share this with some people, you know. This is useful information. Have a good day.